recently, or you gave your thoughts on, let me say, was Looper. They actually did they published an article called "The Most Legendary Players in Gaming," and in that they went over the whole 13-0 situation. And they were you basically were calling them out because you basically said the way they retold the history wasn't true. It seemed like it was not accurate, or I don't want to say fabricated, like they totally made it up, but it wasn't an accurate representation of what actually happened. Now there's a lot of newer people that's coming into the FGC and things like that that might not actually know that whole story. Like people like me who hadn't been in the scene a while, like I don't know that whole story, you know. So I'm sure there's other people that like me who don't know that whole story. And we don't want to go to articles, you know, people take it at face value, like, oh, what they're saying is true. And then you hear from one of the sources and it's saying that's not true at all. So could you tell us like exactly how that did happen? And we could hear from like one of the horse's mouths of how that situation actually went down. And people don't have to really guess like, oh yeah, it was like this because this article said it, or it was like this because they heard somebody else said it. Like, could you tell us about that time? How did it happen and everything about it from basically your perspective?
Yeah. So it was more so like they were trying to say that, like, basically it's the audience and the media that say that like I challenged Sonic, but it was Sonic who challenged me and I accepted the challenge. And they just tried to make it seem like I was just talking stuff randomly and then it was like, yeah, let's play. And it was like not that that was not it. Um that was pretty much it. Like they lied about how it went down.
Yeah, yeah, and you know that whole
That's just
situation.
been the narrative that they've like carried for years. And that's been, I don't
Mhm.
know. But yeah, there's still. I was like, okay, but I just thought it was funny to be in the article for most legendary gamers ever, and I'm like, okay, well, because when I first came to the scene, I was reading about Justin and Daigo, so
Mhm.
now I'm in an article with them, and I'm like, okay, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, so in it, you know, with that whole situation, do you personally feel, and if you don't feel like you want to go into it 100%, I understand, but do you personally feel like it your people really try to like overshadow all the things that you've done just from that one situation? Like,
Yeah,
does
people.
it
I
really
mean,
bother
like
you?
when I go in public, people ask me about that. Like I just ran into somebody at a store and I never met this person. It was like, "Hey, aren't you PL?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, you had a match with Sonic Fox." Like that, yeah, I get recognized for that. So it's like I hear about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because, you know, it is one of those things like you could, you know, people make jokes about it and stuff like that. But, you know, like I said before, you know, I really want to hear like it from the person who was actually there, who actually experienced it, and not so much from the things that you hear on social media from random people or random people who just retelling it for an article and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
um
it's like a combination of part of the audience for fighting games that just doesn't like me, and then there's also people that like make the audience not like me by either saying whatever. Or there are times where I'll get antagonized and I might respond a certain way, and then they might point out, like, "Oh, see, he responded." Like, basically, try to make an example, then to use that example to justify whatever they said. There's that, and then there's people who, of course, you just got your people that are just jealous haters at whatever it is that's going on with you. They might not like it, or they just hate you in general, but I don't think about or care about any of that stuff because, like, at the end of the day, they can't stop me from playing well. They can't stop me from being happy. They can't stop me from doing like anything that I'm doing. Like, it's not gonna stop. Like, they're not gonna show up and beat me in tournament or anything. So it's gonna take a a lot to. I don't know. I just don't care about what people think because at the end of the day, people really don't care about what they think. They just going along with whatever it is in style or however they're told they should behave sometimes.
Why do you feel like people like have this hate for you? Do you feel like it's unwarranted? Like it just comes out of nowhere? Like people just need something to be upset about, or like do you feel like it comes from a particular thing? Like because I noticed that online that it seems like it comes from your way, and I wonder sometimes like I don't really see like where is it coming from? Like what has he done?
Yeah, I haven't done anything to anybody. So yeah, I mind my business and go, about my own way. And it's like what I help people get better at games. I give people what strats, tips, and all that. I give back a lot. Like I do tournaments, giving out money, everything. And I don't do that because I'm trying to like pay a due or nothing. It's just like I don't know. I just like doing stuff. But people are idiots, man. They go along with what people say. Like, you got weak minded people out there. I don't have any issues with like strong minded people or people who have more intelligence. Is more so the idiots that show up and they're just annoying, but they ain't gonna do nothing. So it's like whatever. In game, in real life, whatever. And I don't have any real enemies like that. Um, no one's coming after me, nothing. These are random trolls online. Pretty sure, like, yeah, most people who talk shit, they'll walk right past me in person. I've seen it. Like at Evo, I've been somewhere and I've seen different people, and yeah, they would just walk with their heads down or something. After seeing them post like some big thread or something on me or whatever, act like they're cool. I don't know, man. It's the weirdest thing because at the end of the day, we're just playing games. I haven't scammed nobody in no money. I haven't like sexually assaulted nobody. I haven't done any of that bad shit that other people have done to people. And I don't know. Like it's just I don't know. I know like there are times I might come off it might seem really direct or something, but that's just me. Like I'm straightforward. I don't like to beat around the bush with stuff. And I know how that can rub people the wrong way who I don't know, I guess like to engage in bullshit all the time. But me, I like to just keep it simple, play games and, playing tournaments or whatever, and just keep going about with the day.